No, it's fine. Yours is over here. I'm so sorry.
I watched, I just didn't know.
Where's the couple years over there? Under the
That is so funny.
Thank you.
Honey,
I'm so
I had
sorry.
the house on that was just this ivory, whatever this is.
Yes, thank
this
you.
morning I changed it.
Oh my God, we could have been twins.
That's so funny. It's my granddaughter. So this is not to the thing.
It's on. Okay.
It's not on.
Very good. Thank you.
And are you introducing or are you talking?
I'm the MC. I'm the master of ceremony. I'll be bringing everybody welcoming and I'll bring you up. All right, we ready to get started? Can you guys invite people in to the room, please? Thank you. Good morning, everybody. You guys looking beautiful, early, ready for it, huh? We know something good has got to happen. Exactly, me too. Why don't you do that? That's a beautiful thing. Thank you. Oh my God.
Come on in to the room. We're gonna get started now. If you're outside, come on in to the room. We're gonna get started now.
Come on now, come on into the room.
Come on into the room.
Woo!
We're gonna get started now. And if you aren't here, then you're outside. I won't say anything else about that. But you wanna be with us in the room, 'cause we're gonna get started now.
Woo! Yeah!
You
Come on now, let's go!
In the room.
All right!
To help us get started now.
Come on!
Come on now.
Let's
Come
get
on
dancing around, yeah! Come on!
Yeah! To help us get going now. 'Cause if you're outside, then you're outside. It's just not the place to be. One more time, 'cause if you're outside, Don't be outside. We're all together, there's only one. You know all the sayings, you just fill in the blank. Because if you're outside, just come inside. Come inside, because we're starting now. We're starting now.
Come on in. All right, how many of you have seen Hamilton? All right, this is the room where it happens. All right, this is the room where it happens. This is where you want to be. So welcome all of you. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Can you believe it? It's the third day. Day 3. Yeah. You guys having a good time? Yeah. You guys having a good time? Yeah. I'm telling you, when I go to conferences, I say to myself, what's the one thing? What is the one thing? What's the takeaway? Because there's so much going on. There's just so much love in the room, so much information, beautiful speakers, wonderful music. Thank you. What's the takeaway? So I walk in with an expectation of something wonderful is going to happen here this week. And what's going to change my life? What's the one thing? And so I'm here to ask you guys, what's the one thing? So far, what is the best thing that has happened as you can think of right now? Just shout it out. What do you think?
Melissa and Z.
Melissa and Z. Woo! Yeah, give it up. Give it up. Yes,
Don't
yes.
make me cry.
Woo! That's what we do here. We cry. Ask Jerry. What's the one thing? Shout it out. What's the one? Tell me. Connection. New people? Okay, we're meeting new people. Bathing in connection, that's the word you use? I love it. We're bathing in connection. What else?
Mind-expanding ideas.
Mind-expanding ideas. We had a great tip from Michelle earlier on. Just put your big idea in the back of the book. So many big ideas coming from the back of the book. What's yours, Margaret?
So it's rejuvenation, because I felt now it's like really
Rejuvenation. Yes, please.
The sweet heart that is the context in which ANTN is.
Whoa! All right, the sweet heart of ANTN. What'd you say?
Oh no, it's a done deal. We're members. Yeah.
No need to discuss that. Just lock that down. It's already done.
We haven't had time to fill out the paper, but it's done. Yeah, it's done.
And speaking of which, I am the membership chair, co-chair, and this is a perfect time to join ANTN. We have so many wonderful benefits. We keep adding all the time. Every time we have a board meeting, Mary Beth and I, we're co-chairs of the membership committee. We're always looking to see what benefits do we have. And so when we bring something up, we both say, can that be a member benefit? Can we just have that as a member benefit? Because you all are the heart of Anton. So thank you so much, and thank you for all these wonderful things that are happening right now. I want to give a shout out to Missy Higginbotham. Is Missy in the room? She's not in the room right now. Oh, there you are, baby. She's not in the room, sorry. But it was her. The whole mask things make you look different. So I thought she was in the room. She's not in the room. But I just wanted to give her a shout out for that fabulous labyrinth last night. Who went to that? Okay. Yeah, exactly. And it was cold, and she was out there working and making it look beautiful for all of us. So I want to say thank you to her and to those who helped her make it a success. Mary Beth and Michael Spear. Laura Mock. Laura, you in the room? If you're not in the room, that's okay. Still giving you thanks, and you still feel it from our heart. Richard Schutzenhofer. Am I saying your name right? Schutzenhofer, is that correct? Thank you. Thank you so much for your help. And also to David Fuchs. Is that right, too? Is that how you say your name, David Fuchs? Thank you so much for all of your help. Thank you all for being here. So we have a wonderful day planned. Of course we do. I already did that, didn't I? Have the open remarks. Thank you guys actually for bringing people in the room. Appreciate that. They just stepped up and said, shall we play some music? Let's do that. Let's have some fun already before we start. So, all right, I guess we're ready for you all to do a song.
These are the actual words that go with what Z was playing before. And you know this. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind. Yeah. Stayed on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind. Stayed on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind. What did it? Stay on spirit. Yeah, I woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on spirit. Yeah, woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah. You take it.
Hallelujah. Hey, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Woo! Thank you. Beautiful.
I heard her over there. I'm like, wait a minute now.
So you already see where the day's going, right? We're just going to step up and do whatever Spirit tells us to do. So right now, I believe we're going to have an opening treatment. I'd like to welcome up Reverend Dr. Carol Lawrence. Yay. Thank you, Carol.
Well, now I know why I brought this book. No, it's not on. Closer. I retired this last year, so I left it all. Because, wait, you can't do the music during this because it's a different thing. I wanted to introduce you to a poet, Shalane Harkin. She's young, early 30s. And she's written 2 books. This one is the first one, Susceptible Delight. The second one is Let Us Dance, the Whirl and Stumble with the Beloved. She is channeling Hafiz. It's in the tradition of mystic, ecstatic poetry like Rumi and Hafiz. And I thought about bringing it, and then after this song and stuff, I realized why I did. This is a poem called The Worst Thing. The worst thing we ever did was put God in the sky out of reach, pulling the divinity from the leaf, sifting out the holy from our bones, insisting God isn't bursting dazzlement through everything we've made a hard commitment to see as ordinary, stripping the sacred from everywhere to put it in a cloud man elsewhere, prying closeness from your heart. The worst thing we ever did was take the dance and the song out of prayer, make it sit up straight and cross its legs, removed it of rejoicing, wiped clean its hip sway, its questions, its ecstatic yowl, its tears. The worst thing we ever did is pretend God isn't the easiest thing in this universe, available to every soul in every breath. And so now we play the music because I'm going to ask you to breathe. Shalane Harkin. So just take a breath. Breathe love. Breathe allowing. Deepen into your heart. fall into that. Abyss comes to mind, that deep well of inspiration. This knowing, this divine love intelligence, this cherishing awareness that is right here and right now, the fullness of each and all of us. And in and from this awareness, I speak this word for this session this morning, this day and this conference, knowing that love flows through us, breathes us, sustains us, uplifts us, inspires us. Giving thanks for the speakers, the musicians, for each one drawn here, because in and from this field, we let this love radiate out. And we are blessed and a blessing. And how grateful I am that this is the truth. And so it is.
Oh my God. I'm getting that book. By the way, what's the name of it again?
Susceptible to Light is the first one, and Let Us Dance. It's a little more hip sway in the Let Us Dance one as she finds her voice.
Susceptible to light. Okay. All right. So we're definitely going to get that book. I just want to step back just a moment. I did not say good morning and hello specifically to those of you who've joined us on Zoom. So my apologies. Thank you so much for being here. We see your lovely faces. Thank you for being here, all of you being here this morning. Hello. Getting love and connection from ANTN and Unity. All right. Oh, okay. Well, we have something special going on this morning. We have some greetings and blessings from the ANTN family, from Reverend Doctors Frank and Terri Zummallen.
Hi, ANTN beloveds. Namaste. It's Frank and Terri Zummallen. We're really, really sorry we could not be with you.
Okay. Well, we hear them, but we don't see them.
It's coming, honey.
Okay. I can sit back down.
Hi, ANTN beloveds. Namaste. It's Frank and Terri Zummallen. We're really, really sorry we could not be with you this year. It's just been one of those years when we needed to stay home and relax and take care of ourselves.
Okay. We're sorry we can't be with you. And actually, I don't know what world Frank is living in, but we're not relaxing because we're in the middle of moving from one house to another. So tired that we're doing that. But yeah, we're moving, and that's why we couldn't make it this year. But I'm sorry because the conferences are always so uplifting, and I always come back feeling inspired and loved, and I'm just so grateful that we're members of ANTN. And we wanted to share with you also that Frank and I did retire. We retired in June from Awakening Way Spiritual Community in Atascadero, with this beautiful spiritual being took over as the spiritual leader of Awakening Ways. Her name is Elizabeth Rowley Ho. This year, and so I know that she will just fall in love with you like we did, and you'll fall in love with her. And we just feel so blessed to have her take over the reins and be that guiding force for our community. And she will be a wonderful asset to ANTN as well as ANTN will be for her in her life. So we miss you guys. We're always there. We're always there. Every year we're there. We're always sitting in that same little place. But we're not going to be there this year. We will endeavor to be there next year. Hell or high water. But enjoy the conference. Have a wonderful time in that beautiful, serene, and spiritual place. And we send you our love and blessings.
Yes, we so envy you being able to be there in Unity Village and enjoying, that incredibly powerful energy that's there. Since 1998, we've been at almost every conference.
Yeah. We're the old timers.
Yeah,
Right? The
yeah,
old timers.
right. So we will definitely be back next year. This year, it was just necessary for us to take care of ourselves. So blessings to all of you. We love you, and we'll see you.
Beautiful. And they are not old timers, they are our wisdom warriors. And so they are our wisdom warriors. I want to say one more thing, though, about Michelle. That what she just did, calling me over to sing with her. Who's Michelle?
You know, Michelle.
I'm looking at you, I guess.
Michelle is my cosmic name.
Okay, there you go. And I knew that. I felt that.
People who have known me for years slip and call me Michelle.
That's insane.
To the point where if I'm in a store and I hear, if I'm far away, someone calls out the name Michelle, I turn. Because you just never know.
Well, and also,
It
just
is-
now when you said Michelle, I knew you were
I
referring
knew
to her.
you, yeah. It's like that. So
I love
it's
it.
my cosmic name.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So, you know, I mean, you don't have to even say what you're saying, but people know what you're meaning.
Yeah.
So I love that. Melissa, this is not something that happens. I just want you to know that was special. For her to call me over, she has a stage. This is her stage, and she called another singer over. That's because she has an open heart, a big heart, and she knows the universe is abundant. So I wanted to say that and acknowledge that. Thank you so much for that.
I just heard the voice. But thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we got another song coming.
All right, we have another one. I do want to say, we love you so. We have just been being so nurtured and blessed and served and supported by ANTN, the vibe, the people, you all. So thank you, Jerry and Martha and the whole committee and everyone here. We are very, very grateful. We feel like we found our new home. So, as I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. Please join me. As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. We'll sing it one more time. As I say a tender yes, yes, to everything that comes to me. My heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is, brings me I surrender. I am peace. I surrender. I surrender. I am peace. I surrender. I surrender. I am peace.
I love how perfect Spirit makes everything. No matter what we thought we were going to do, no matter what the plans were, it shows up exactly as it should. So thank you all. Thank you. Your songs are beautiful. All right. So I have the pleasure of bringing up Reverend Dr. Bill Marchiony. I want to say a little something about Bill that you may not know. One of the things we've been talking about this entire time, was that the people of Anton say yes. The people of Anton say yes. So if you remember, you already know that we just say yes. It comes to you and we just say yes to Spirit, yes to God, yes. So when we were starting to make the new website for Anton, and I said, yes, I could do that. I can create that. Now, I am not a code person. I don't write code, so don't get excited and happy about that. That's not what I do. What I have done is I have found a wonderful software program that lets you drag and drop and create on what is the foundation that we use that it's set up on? It doesn't. WordPress, thank you. Yeah, so you can use a WordPress thing, and you set up your website using a drag and drop. So that's what I do, and created this lovely little website. And so then the members of the board were saying, "Well, PJ, we'd like to have this member directory, and we'd like it to do this, that, and the other thing. Can you do that?" I cannot. Bill, can you do that? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So together, everybody's saying I'm the webmaster, and I did build the frame. But together, we put whatever you see up there, all the little added things, that's Bill. That is Bill saying yes. And I'm so excited about this spiritual adventures. I went on your website to take a look at some of the things you do. You know he has like a God Calls. Have you guys seen that? The God Calls? Woo! Yes, you know. Yeah, so check that out. He's got God, because he's got so many things. So I'm looking forward to the spiritual adventures. They are non-traditional workshops, activities, and programs. Is that perfect for New Thought? Non-traditional, really? They are transformative processes that invite participants to deepen into a greater awareness of their own spiritual nature with a brave and supportive group. That's what we do here right now. We are a brave, supportive group. So each adventure combines emotional, intellectual, and physical techniques from a range of practices to create a powerful and affirming experience. Would you please put your hands together and welcome with me Reverend Dr. Bill Marchiony. Do you need this?
No, I got one.
You got one? Okay.
Yeah, they put the little secret one on me. Drag and drop, so you know, means it is a drag to work with these tools. And you have to struggle until you drop. So they say, we're going to use this. Figure out how to make it work. Well, that doesn't really do what we want to do. So some time pushing the pieces together. So here is a conversation you might hear in your community, which is A, very familiar, and ought to be very scary. One person's talking to another person and says, Well, I was having an issue, so I went to a practitioner to get a spiritual mind treatment, and I manifested a demonstration. And their friend says, oh, great. And a new person listening in goes, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? We have a secret language. We have a secret language, and it is a barrier to people getting involved in this teaching. This is a fabulously powerful teaching. And we have something else which is so much scarier that we should really be focusing on that to get people over that particular hump. And that is the fact that we don't blame God when stuff goes wrong.
Okay.
Right?
That's correct.
That's right. We have authority and accountability for our lives. We are creating our own experience. And if our experience, and I'll use the spiritual term, sucketh, if our experience sucketh, it's up to us to recognize it, to take accountability for it, and then have authorship over what we want to do instead. That's huge. That is huge. And that one snuck up on me. I didn't understand that. I've been looking to do a podcast for probably 5 or 6 years, trying to find the right context to do it. Originally, I was completely arrogant because I spent 10 years on the radio, and I thought, if I'm going to be talking into a microphone, there's going to be a really tall tower behind me that somebody has gotten a license to use the air for. And I got over that. And I was looking for how to take this teaching and bring it to other people, to people who are outside of our circle, our bubble. And I was going to do it with my daughter, who's a New Thought cynic, but she grew up in the teaching. And every time we did one of the pilot episodes, she was already on board with the stuff I was talking about. So there was no tension. There was no dynamic there. I got a friend of mine who works for NPR, our local NPR station in Philly, and was going to do it with him, some sort of an interview thing, so he can ask me questions. But he didn't have any skin in the game. He was doing it from a distance as a journalist. So I didn't know how to do that and how that was going to come together. Then, completely uncharacteristically, I did a Facebook ad for a practitioner class that I was teaching, set up through Emerson last year in the middle of the pandemic, because one of our local centers wanted to teach a practitioner class. They didn't have anybody who could teach it. They asked me. I said, I'll do it, but I want to be able to open it up to anybody. So we did that. Of course, Angelo, the original man who says yes. So I put together a video, and we made a Facebook ad. And this woman contacted me. She says, can I get in the class? I said, well, what do you know about New Thought? She says, well, I've been reading about New Thought forever, but I have to be honest, I spent 35 years as a pastor in 3 different Christian denominations. So I've had to unindoctrinate myself as I learn about New Thought. And I said, you can't get into the practitioner class yet, because you have some learning to do in the meantime. But she said, okay, let's go. And so she's been taking all of the classes, and she's been rewiring herself, and she's now co-hosting the podcast with me.
Nice. Nice.
She was doing prayer from the pulpit and not believing it. Oh, God, please don't let them take her house. Oh, God, please don't. And you can put passion into that. You can put energy into that. She's a black woman. She does it really well. She has been at mega churches where there are 6,000 people. But she didn't believe it. And so now she's having to unlearn that as she's learning New Thought. And I get the opportunity to say stuff to her because she's asking questions that I never thought of. She says, what's the difference between a spiritual mind treatment, or as I call it, a practical prayer? I'll get into that in a second. What's the difference between a practical prayer and a regular prayer? I thought for a second. I said, well, I actually ran away from Christianity when I was 12, so the prayer was, now I lay me down to sleep, and it's about praying not to die before you wake up. And saying, that didn't really seem like a prayer at the time. So you tell me what a traditional prayer is, and I'll tell you how you can do better on that one. And we've been having a wonderful, rich conversation in a weekly podcast, and it keeps on diving into the principles that we're talking about. And Spiritual Adventures is about taking principle and putting it in a different context, allowing people who are not already inside the circle to understand it and be open to it. And the original idea, by the way, it was at this conference 2 years ago. I had been in a technology company for 5 years, and they had offered to let me do 2 jobs instead of just the one that I was doing, including one that I was not qualified for a lot of struggle with no additional money. And I was wondering how to make that work. So I sat down with Frank Zummallen. I said, I don't need a prayer. I just like want to bounce an idea off of you. And at the end of 20 minutes, he says, so let me get this straight. You can either go into ministry, which is what you really want to do, or you can go to this job and struggle. Well, okay, when you put it that way. It made it a much easier decision. And so I set out to do spiritual adventures and my ministry full-time beginning in December of 2019. And of course, everything has gone according to plan. Yeah, that was perfect. And one of the things that I'd been involved in for a long time was yoga. I had a wonderful yoga practice, and I would go into the yoga studio, and there are a bunch of yoga studios. Some people think that yoga is a workout with the moves labeled sometimes in Sanskrit, and it's just done for exercise. And those people are allowed to think that and to practice yoga that way because that's how flexible yoga is, but that's not what it's about. Yoga is actually a physical practice to get your body worked so that you can settle down and meditate. And some of the yoga studios and some of the yoga teachers brought that spirituality into it. And I said, that's where I want to start. The people who consider themselves to be, and this is a term, SBN, are spiritual but not religious. They're either unchurched or they go to a church because their family goes to the church and they don't really believe it. Spiritual but not religious. Those are people who are open to going to yoga and doing something a little bit spiritual, where they'll do a meditation for 5 minutes at the beginning of the yoga class, where they'll do something like set an intention that you can bring to your mat today. That's wonderful. It's a nice idea. Very rarely do they actually get back to the intention. When they do, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, bring your intention to mind again. And I thought there is a way to take the work that I've been doing with experiential activities with teens and move that into this space. So that's where we invented the spiritual adventures. We had a meetup group. It was called New Thought Philadelphia, and there were like 150, 200 people on the meetup group. So we rebranded it in January of 2020, Philly Spiritual Adventures. And we started doing stuff with the Philly Spiritual Adventures. I got the manager of the yoga studio, and we set up to do these once-a-month experientials. The first one was in May of 2020, which of course means it didn't happen, because nobody was going to yoga studios in May of 2020, and they certainly weren't going to do something that wasn't yoga. We've been jonesing for a yoga class forever. The spiritual adventures are the opportunity to just take some physical activity and turn it into something spiritual. And actually, I'm going to show you the website that we had for that. I'm a technical guy, so supposedly this is going to work. We'll see. There we go.
Oh my God, better than you imagined.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so we've now got 652 members. And what happens, it's social media. And with Meetup, it's social media for meeting events and stuff. So we started by doing these events. We put our Sunday celebrations on there. The pandemic happened. We had to pull back a whole bunch of things. But I started doing Zoom meditations twice a day. And those have been on Philly Spiritual Adventures. And we've got people coming into those meditations from all over the world. I'm sitting down there in my library and get on my iPad, and so there's somebody from Finland, or from Singapore, or from India. A bunch of people coming in from India. They only come in once. I think they want to figure out what we're doing. That's okay. That's okay. And it's a 15-minute program. And honest to God, it never runs to 15 minutes except when the community is chatty. Because we get together and we connect with each other because we don't get the opportunity to do that as much as we used to before we were all locked down. So the community chats amongst themselves, finds out where are you, what's going on, what's the story. Multiple communities are crossing through doing this. We set an intention, and I lead a guided meditation for just a couple of minutes. We get to connect in community and do that, and that's a spiritual adventure. And what happens in social media is when more people join in, the thing recommends it to more and more people, and that's why the folks in Milwaukee are regulars. In fact, there's a practitioner in my class now who's from Milwaukee, who was in Lisa's center for a while and was looking for a place, and now she's one of mine. So these things are just the opportunity to say, what is possible here? Now, that's the way that we're doing it online. What I get to do, since we're in the room together, is show you some of the stuff that we do when we're in person. So, well, go ahead.
You're talking about the meditation and stuff. Do you do the meditation as an event on your meetup or a separate thing?
We list it on the meetup and we do it on Zoom.
This is on the meetup.
Right. Meetup is just for getting the group together, and then Zoom is how we're actually doing it. And I try not to promote the other things that we're doing. I mentioned what we've got going on. A lot of times, the people in the community will tell the other folks on the meetup, hey, this is coming up, it's going to be a great event. And that's what community is all about for me. I want the people in my group to be connecting even when I'm not there. All they want to do is touch base. I want to do something new. This is a little about the outside the box. Is that okay? And we get to yes. How do we make that work? Spiritual adventures are how you teach principle without standing in front of somebody and pontificating. What I want to be able to do is get somebody to have an experience and realize something about themselves. I need 4 volunteers. Okay, and Denny. Now, what we're going to do, mask up, be safe. Walk this way. Can you excuse us for just a second, John? We need to move your chair.
Okay.
Oh, you got all your stuff there. Sorry.
That's okay.
You have to pack your bags. All right. So one at a time, we're going to do is I've got a dot on the floor here, and I got my little dart gun. What you're going to do is stand behind the dot. See the green dot on the door? You're going to call how close to the dot can you get. All right, and then you're going to take a shot. So I'm going to be 4 inches away. Oh, man. Where the little dot is on the floor here. Within 4 inches. There we go.
Not bad.
PJ's first. How close? 10? Whoa! Even bigger than you thought it was going to be. Jeannie? How close? 8. A little bit off. Okay. You can hit the door? Should I be ducking over here? Okay. Hit the door! Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to win on target.
Where are you going to hit? Call it. Now, Dana actually got, did you call it?
I said I'm going to hit the target.
You hit the target. Okay, you hit the target. There you go. Now, what were the instructions? Stand behind the dot, call your shot, and then take your shot. Why did you guys not say you're going to hit the dot?
Ooh, nice. Good.
There was some doubt. There was some disbelief. I'm not going to be able to hit that dot. Because we're looking at the circumstance and the situation saying, well, in this particular physical experience, what am I capable of?
Right.
What's the rest of the instructions? Call your shot, then you take it. Okay, so I'm going to stand behind the dot. I'm going to call my shot right smack on the middle of the target. You ready?
Yes.
There was nothing about not moving closer to the target. Change your thinking, change your life. Thank you, guys. You can sit down. Now, I'm going through these things quickly. Each one of these is an hour and 15-minute workshop experience that you can do in a yoga studio. Get people to come in, pay, sit in meditation for a little while, then go into the process and the practice. And I've got a couple more that I'm going to be going over today as well. PJ mentioned God calls. This is another one where it's changing context. Usually, I could take this off on the presenter. Usually when we think about an inspirational talk, it's going to be, You need to organize it, you need to set it up. It's going to be at our Sunday service. We're going to do some music. We're going to butter the crowd up with some meditation and some prayer. And then we're going to go into talking about principle. And that's going to be 15 or 20 or 45 minutes or whatever it happens to be. Turns out I'm really good at doing short and pithy. So 12, 15 years ago, I came up with this idea to call people and say something short and pithy. At this point, it's on a recording, so I'm going to ask Dave to play a God call, which our digital media coordinator actually turned into a video for us. These are all produced as audio.
Here's Reverend Bill with your God call.
There is a curious phenomena of pumpkin spice flavoring. It seems this time of year you can get a pumpkin spice just about anything. And for some reason, pumpkin spice in your coffee or your latte or your donuts or your cake or your ice cream makes it somehow a little bit better. So here's what I want you to do with your life. Add some pumpkin spice to it. Your life is a thing of beauty, and now it's that much better.
And people love that. And you can take any metaphor that you would turn into a 20-minute talk or a 45-minute talk and put it into something short if you want to. If you say, oh, well, geez, Bill, that's a gift that you have. I could never possibly do that. Then the universe says, yes, and you can't. So instead, what you get to do is say, what are my gifts and skills and talents? What new thing can I bring to take us out of church and into a spiritual adventure? There are people who, when they want to connect with spirit, go on a hike. If you're one of those people, then make a group that goes hiking, spiritual hikers, and just go wander around the landscape thinking about spirit. Can you call it spirit? Yes. Is your group allergic to the word God? Don't use the word God, or work into it slowly. Because what you need to do is meet people. You don't need to. You don't have to do any of this stuff. Let me change that. What you can do is meet people where they are and invite them on the path with you to continue diving into that deeper spiritual awareness. I love to go back to creation stories, because if you were to describe the Big Bang, the singularity exploding, and all of the reactions and permutations that came along to form stars, and the stars forming the elements, and the elements forming the chemical compounds, and those forming planets and life and all the rest of that. If you were to describe that in the language available 3,000 years ago, when the Bible was written, it'd sound like in the beginning there was darkness and void, and God said, let there be light. Because there was no language for it. They're not two different ideas. There's one idea. Find the commonality, find the language that your people are speaking, and speak that language. Speak that language, because you've already got a huge hurdle to get over, which is the fact that they're accountable for whatever's going on in their life. So people love that when it's going good. When it's going good, oh yeah, that's wonderful. And when things are not going good, it's like, what did I do wrong? And whose fault is this? And who can I blame? And it must be God's fault, because I couldn't possibly have brought this on myself. And what we want to be able to do is shake that loose just a little bit, to let people have the room to think maybe there's something different going on in my life. I need some different volunteers. Sorry, everybody gets a chance. And as I say, normally we bring enough supplies that everybody can do all of these things and go through the whole process. I think this one will cap out at 8 people, and it's a writing exercise, but it involves index cards, so it's not much writing. And PJ, I'm going to list you to give out 8 index cards. And Michelle, if you would go and give one of these colored markers to each of the people with an index card. It's the ones who have the index cards. Only the ones with the index cards. And the people who are volunteering, I want you to think of a crappy story about something bad that happened to you that you don't like. Yeah. And this is going to be a circumstance that sucketh. Just 8. Because when you get to 8, we're going to run out of blue magic markers. Okay. Who has a card that doesn't have a marker? Okay. Is there anybody with a card that doesn't have a marker? Okay. Michelle, could you also give a pink marker to all of the same people? Okay. Now, if this were actual spiritual adventure, you'd probably be doing this all blindfolded, okay, or with your hands tied behind. You need to have a little bit of a challenge involved in these things. One of my favorite things to do is to get a bunch of people together with a balance beam, and you walk the balance beam. It's like, I can do that. Okay, walk it backwards. All right, I can walk the balance beam backwards. Okay, now put on a blindfold. And it's like, it's a little more difficult. Okay, now we're going to bungee your left hand to your right foot. You're trying to go down blindfolded on a balance beam. And then we're going to have somebody who's trying to push you off the balance beam. And then you get somebody else, another friend, who's going to help you stay on the balance beam. You can always call on spirit to help keep you aligned on your path. There is always that hand that's available. And regardless of what the challenge is, those hands on your shoulder are going to take care of it. So the folks with who have an index card, take the pink pen. Now, remedial education. The pink one looks like this. Okay? I want you to come up with a story of woe. Do not do a spiritual bypass. This is going to be something about that bastard took the money, or I am so annoyed with people who X, Y, or Z. And the reason you have a 5x8 index card is I don't want this to be a long story. So what you're going to do is just write out in big letters on the card the gist of the story, enough that you will be able to recognize what this story is if you were to look at it a month from now. Go ahead and write that down.
Can you repeat that story about what?
Something that sucketh. Something in your life that is not to your liking that you would love to have changed. No spiritual bypass. No, I understand it's love unfolding, but it's like people who drive in the left lane at 50 miles an hour piss me off. You can use whatever language you want. Something that you find to be irritating or annoying or disappointing. Raise your hand when you've got it. And for those of you waiting patiently, thank you very much. Normally you'd be working on your own story in your own pink magic marker. Okay, and you are welcome to do that. You are welcome to write your own story. Anybody need more time? It's a 5x8 card. Take your time. In the meantime, Pjae, I have another task for you. If you could just count the number of people that are in the room. Count the number of people who are participating in this. So it's everybody here except me and the sound and video guys. We ready now? Okay. So we're not going to need that number for a couple minutes, so you got time. You can start over. All right, so this is where we would normally teach the pivot. If you're looking at something that you don't like, and it's crappy, there's a shadow there, it's awful, this sucketh, that means that there's something blocking the light. Either it's something over there between you and the light, or the light is over your shoulder and you're casting a shadow on it. So the thing that you want to do is pivot. You want to turn towards the light. So you're facing into that experience with a new idea, with a new possibility. So, and this is the part you guys are all really good at. I want you to take whatever it is in that circumstance, that story, and I want you to change that into something affirmative. This is the experience I'm having instead. Once this crappy circumstance, that one over there, the crappy circumstance over here has gone away, what am I going to be experiencing instead? And once you have that, I want you to take the blue pen, looks like this, and write that story directly over the pink story. They're going to be right on top of one another, okay? So go ahead and do that. If you can get them to be the same length, that's awesome. Doesn't have to be. How many? 47. No kidding. Whew.
I did. I had. Thank you. I didn't got the text for you.
Good. Not yet? Nope. Nope, that does not work in this particular game. Are you all ready? Okay. So now you have 2 stories that are written down on your card. I have my 2 stories here. And you really can't tell which is which, right? So what do? Just kind of hang out there in the murk? Or you use your, burn it. That's a lot of times that's our idea. These are my 3D glasses. So, and I've got 2.5 pairs of 3D glasses. Well, through the magic of air travel, this is only half a story there. So raise your hand if you have a card. You can have a half. I'll let you guys share. I'll let you guys share over here. Put on the glasses. Cover one eye. What do you see? You see the pink letters when you're looking through the blue lens. You see the blue letters when you're looking through the red lens. The same story is there. It's how you look at it. It's how you look at it. If you choose to look through and see through the blue lens and look at the pink story, then your life is going to be blue. And you are free to choose to look through whichever one you want. This exercise is called perspectacles. And you can do that. Or you can do something different. Create something that resonates with you that will also resonate with the people in your community who you want to be communicating and connecting with. Because there's lots of different possibilities. There's lots of things that you can do to make this stuff work.
Do you still get to burn it?
You can burn anything you want, George. Create a bonfire and drive the rental car into it, George. You're creating your own experience. This is a fun thing to do during a pandemic. We are going to stand up and form a socially distanced circle. So as widely as you can get, and you want to be able to take hands with the person next to you. Need you to leave a space here for me. Excuse me, because I'm coming in here. Just hang on a second. Hold that between your hands. To you, and you take that one. Yeah.
We're not going to do it, Barbie.
Hold that between you? No. No. Not at this time. You hold that one.
Oh, I see.
You hold that end. You hold that end. There you go. Now, we have this notion that we're all connected. And we keep on saying, we are one. We are all connected. We are part of the same one infinite presence.
What did you say?
We are connected.
We're all connected? Nice.
Now, I'm going to do something else fascinating here. Okay, that's perfect. Two of my favorite people. Here, hold that. Both of you together. There we go. Now, we saw that principle working. We saw what happens when those little toy sci-fi tubes are in the circle there, and we hold hands. Not right now. There's only one of them working now. Is yours making any noise? Switch yours around. What happened there? Principle didn't work. Principle didn't work. Let's try one more time. Now that one's working, and that one's only going a little bit, and that one's not going at all. It turns out it goes in a direction, this way or that way. And as long as they're all aligned up in the same direction, they all work properly. So if you turn that one around, the principle always works. The principle, actually, something else I want to do here. The principle always works even when it works by appearing not to work. Have we heard that before? Yeah. You want to play poker? Take a card, pass the rest around. My board president, when you say, take a sheet and pass it down, he'll take the top sheet and pass it down, hold the rest of them. He says, that's what you told me to do. It's like, that's using your word.
Can't hear a word. She told him to take the first card and pass the rest of them around.
So you're going to take the first card and pass the rest of the cards around. At the end of this,
I'll only have two choices, but you won't have any.
and actually, PJ, take any card you want. Everybody should have one card. I should speak more slowly. Take a card. At the end of this process, everybody will have one card. There should be in your possession one card and not two cards. Of the count of cards in your hands, the number shall be 1. Thou shalt not take 2 cards. Thou shalt not take no cards and mess up the game. Take only one.
One and only one.
Oh, yeah, by the way, if you'd like, since we're already in a circle, we could pass a basket too. And the treasurer says, let's do that. Hey, PJ, when the cards come around, you skip because we have an odd number. So you and I are doing this together.
Okay.
So PJ will be the one with 0 cards, as will I. Hey, Dave, how many people do we have on the Zoom?
11, counting hosts.
Okay. Anybody know how to make breakout rooms? I could do it, but I'm not going to right now. Okay. If you could go help Dave set up breakout rooms, we need to be able to pair up into dyads on the Zoom.
Uh-oh. Somebody got 2 cards.
No, we're missing one. Sorry. Apparently missing one.
Okay, in that case, the two of you are paired up. I'm glad I did it that way.
I don't have a card.
I know, but she doesn't have a card either. So now there you go.
I don't have a card. She doesn't, so we're matching.
It's about 5 after 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend 10 minutes. Because the first part of this is, you're adults, this is going to take a long time, because it's just, teenagers do this in a second. There are 2 parts of the instructions here. And throughout all of this, maintain social distancing, whatever is appropriate behavior for you as you go ahead and do this. As of right now, you're in sacred silence. There will be no words spoken. You're holding a card, and your card has a number and a color. For example, these are 2 jacks, and they both are black. What you want to do is find the person who has the same card and color as you do. That is your perfect partner, okay? What you're going to do after that is you're going to spend the rest of the 10 minutes, which hopefully will be more than 30 seconds left, and find out what you have in common besides the cards that caused you to be perfect partners. Now, this might be something completely obvious. Well, I'm married to her, okay? It could be something much more subtle than that. But this is a process where there's something going on that is bigger than we understand. Sacred silence usually sounds much quieter.
Does it last after we find our sacred silence?
Great question. Yes, Michelle?
You said 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So what'll happen is when I say go, we'll have 10 minutes. You're going to walk around the room in sacred silence and find your perfect partner. Then you're going to spend the balance of the time finding out what the 2 of you have in common. You are able to, yes, as soon as you find your perfect partner, you can start talking. Okay? You're religious scientists and New Thought people, we can't keep you from talking. So, go. Isn't it fun? Do you have a handheld we can use? A handheld mic we can use? Perfect, thank you. Find your perfect partner and then find out why you're together. 2 minutes. We'll take another 2 minutes. Draw your conversation to a close. You got another minute left. Time to draw your conversation to a close. I'm going to yell. It is now time to draw your conversation to a close and return your attention to the rest of the group. Attention Kmart shoppers, it's time to return your attention to the group. Today's program is brought to you by the number 1. Would you be microphone off? Input from folks in the room.
Angelo and Carolyn, did you get to go into a meeting room? Which meeting room?
Yeah, the meeting rooms didn't, some of them worked. So what I'd like to know.
I tried, I couldn't get in.
Yeah, want the cards back, want the markers back as well.
Reverend
So,
Carolyn
looks
and
like
I
Vance is
were
gonna be
both
doing that.
on
So there are some of these connections that were obvious. My favorite one was Martha Creek and Robert Brzezinski. It's the network of networks. I'm just looking forward to seeing what's going on as far as that's concerned. You're welcome. Anybody else? What fabulous, exciting thing did you find out?
Each of us lives with 3 dogs and a cat.
There you go. Okay, 3 dogs and a cat. Okay?
Since I have the microphone, I'm going to say, hold on. I was paired with Reverend Suzette, and our first thing, but we had many things, and we weren't done talking, by the way.
Of course.
But was that we both absolutely adore Jerry Troyer.
There you go. Doesn't everybody?
We found 8 things, one within about 2 seconds, but the most miraculous, and I thought you had probably planted this idea. The second thing we found in common, we were both still, and in my head, I just thought about horseback riding. Now that's a weird thing to see if you have in common. If you had asked me a question, what do you like to do best? I would not have chosen that, and it's not true. It just popped in. Turns out we're both very well ridden and have ridden all our lives, and it was just bingo like that.
Love when that happens. Gay.
Took me a long time to find the other ace, the ace of clubs. I was ace of spades. Everybody else is paired up, Couldn't find mine. Finally, my roommate, Marcy Baruch, had the ace of clubs, and I go, it's us. And she goes, what? No, I'm still looking for something. No, honey, it is us. I tell you.
We have a lot in common.
And Robert's next, and then Marco, if you will. But I wanted to make a comment there. How many of you, as you were going through the process looking for your perfect partner, had that thought, oh my God, they're not here, I don't get a partner, I'm not deserving it? Anybody have that come up? Anybody have any sense of struggle? Okay. Oh. Well, yeah, there are two people on the Zoom who were paired up with technology that was not going to be cooperating with them, which was sad. So, the thinking. Robert.
Thank you. And yes, there's a ton of things on the list. And Martha and I were standing next to each other. So I took a card and she took a card. And when we all start to look for each other, she turned that way and I turned this way, never thinking the two cards would be right next to each other. And Martha took a tour around the room, and I just stood in one place. And we took different tactics, but all of a sudden she's coming around, and I see her smiling and holding up my card, and it's like, oh my God, there we are. And it's perfect. It's just the way Spirit wanted it to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Who are you picking? Marco's next, and then we have time for Mary Beth, and then we got to move on. Okay.
This is crazy, crazy, crazy. Same thing. I picked my card, and because we're sitting on the front row, I go the opposite direction, assuming that my card is going to be somewhere else in the deck. It was right next to me. My spiritual mentor, my best friend, he knows practically everything about me. And it was amazing. Well, we did find out something. We have a tremendous passion for theater, for staging, for lighting, for production. And I didn't know that about him, and he didn't know that about me. But I think everything else is pretty much clear that we knew. So it's synchronicity. I knew that we were brothers the moment that we first laid eyes on each other. And here we are.
Well, I may be the only person here who raised my hand about was there no partner for me, because I looked all the way around the room, couldn't find my card. And then I saw Susan holding her card up, and I'm going, oh, this is so perfect. I got to proctor Susan through the practicum, so she is getting her first credential as a practitioner this week. And she was Dr. Charles's student. Dr. Charles was my sponsor when I was a preordained minister back in 1998. And then he was paired up with Marco, who was also one of them that I worked with and is getting his first practitioner license. So it's so exciting. We found lots of things that weren't in common.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary Beth. So, you can say in exasperation or in confidence, God knows how this works. God knows how this works, but this works. I've done this with a teen camp with 400 teens, and instead of a card, no, we don't make it that easy. We blindfold everybody. You want to circle everybody around, and then you have to walk through and touch people. And when there's a connection, when you know that you're with your perfect partner, you hold hands and you sit down. Now, there's a panicky time wandering around with a blindfold on, hoping that you're not the last kid picked for the baseball team. But the experience of it is that when you connect that way, there is something that's a gift there. It's so simple. It's such a simple thing to do, to take something that seems completely mundane and open up and allow Spirit to come into it and find out what happens that way. So that's what a spiritual adventure is. It's about taking something that could be silly and inviting Spirit in and then getting a lesson from it. One of the things that I really love about yoga studios is that we say that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And in yoga studios, it's about the physical experience and having the spiritual activity on top of that. So I'd like everybody to stand up, if you would, please. Seventh inning stretch, if you will. Feel yourself rooted down in your feet. Feel yourself connect to the ground beneath you. Okay? That's the earth. If you didn't know, beneath your feet, there's the floor. Beneath that, there's the foundation. There's no basement in this building. So beneath that, there's earth. And beneath that, there's more earth and more earth and more earth. And it goes down 4,000 miles to the center of the earth. And there's only one person standing directly above the center of the earth on your particular line. We're all doing the same thing, but we're all doing it a little differently. We say, oh, well, I'm doing the same prayer over and over again. Well, no, you're not. Because we're on a planet that's moving 67,000 miles an hour in space. Even if you do the same prayer, what seems like the same prayer again right away, you've moved thousands of miles. You're in a different place. You're a different person. You already said that prayer once, so maybe you've got some more experience. Maybe you're willing to dispense with a little bit more of your BS as you go through it. Feel yourself anchor down. Let your spine become straight. Stand as tall as you can. Does that feel different? As you own that, take a deep, full breath in and hold it at the top. Be completely filled. Sip in a little more air. Hold that until it's really inconvenient and uncomfortable, and what you really want to do is take a breath out. When you're ready to breathe out, a deep, full, complete breath out, and this time hold it out. Feel yourself be open and available, ready for something new, ready for what's next. And at some point, your body's going to say, it's time for another breath in, so go ahead and do that. And whatever's been serving you so well right up until now, at some point it served its purpose, and you're going to let it go. That's a spiritual metaphor that's as simple as breathing. Continue breathing at whatever pace is comfortable for you. So, as you guys know, I relanguage spiritual mind treatment, and I call it practical prayer. It's exactly the same thing. It's a little bit more formulaic because that's how you can teach it in a book that's this thick without having to do the whole Science of Mind textbook. But it's the same steps. The same steps. The first one is recognition, recognizing that infinite creative power that creates everything. And since we're all standing up, go ahead. Open your arms to that infinite possibility. God is. All that God is, I am. Hand over your chest, I am. Anchor that down in reality. I know. And you can put your hands down a little bit. You can bend all the way to the floor. You can do a headstand if you want. I'm grateful. I release and let it go. Now we're going to repeat that a couple more times because it's worth repeating. We actually have a song that we do with the teams, which I now do in my classes, to anchor and remind us of that. Eve has done this before. So you now know the hand movements. I'll do them again. This is actually a dub version of a song by Margaret Owens. So go ahead whenever you're ready, Larry and or Dave. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful, I release and let it go. God is, I am, I know, I'm grateful, I release and let it go. Let spirit hear it. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful, I release and let it go. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful, I release. And you can take the track out now. That goes on most of the way. That goes on for another 4 or 5 minutes because you can keep on doing that and get really into the zone. So just that reminder. And I've had teens come back and say, oh, I was singing that to myself for the next 2 weeks after we did that. And that's the point, to make it automatic. You guys can have a seat. We have a couple of minutes left. If anybody has a question that you want to ask about spiritual adventuring. I was going to point to my website. And then my computer, I have no stream available. There it is.
Do you have any place where you show where you can get these toys that you use to teach in these adventures?
Most of them are from Amazon. So the question is, where do I get the toys and trinkets? Most of them are from Amazon. You can also get a bunch of them from Oriental Trading Company if you need a lot of them. That was Edwin Gaines' go-to place for all things spiritual and Halloween. Mary Beth.
Do you have any resource of all these different ideas and?
I have a bunch of them that are written, a bunch of the resources that are written down as teen workshops, which you then have to modify. Yeah, I do have a bunch of those resources that are available. And this is Zoom time. We can also, you can email me. Or go to my website, which is bethelight.com with hyphens. B-the-light. It's the home of practical prayer and the God calls and the podcast, be-the-light.
Many youth ministers and youth directors have these.
Yep. You guys seem to be fascinated with QR codes yesterday. That's point your camera at that. It'll take you to the Be the Light website. Other questions? Well, I know that there's one infinite creative power that creates everything. 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 There is not a spot where God is not. Everything is that divine power and presence, taking its own specific and particular and unique form. Unique meaning that we each are capable of and have access to and are able to share in different ways. And that's what brings our richness, and our diversity, and our specialness about. We are not all the same. We are all that divine essence, but we're taking different form. That love is unfolding through and as and in each one of us now. That love is right here, right now. That opportunity to step into something wonderful, to be on a spiritual adventure is here. And it's our opportunity to say yes. So I'm grateful for the wonderful way that everybody is saying yes. I'm so grateful for the way that love is unfolding and the gifts are being shared and the light is shining. So it is. Thank you. You guys are fun.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, well, we get the techie stuff together. Was it that amazing? Oh, my God. Yes, another hand clapper there. And so it's so interesting that we know all of these things, and just to keep putting them in a different way, to talk about, and what the takeaway, and I guess I'm going to ask a couple of you guys, what's your takeaway from this workshop today, from what Bill just told us right now? What's your takeaway?
Keep it simple.
Yes, go ahead.
Exactly. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, the KISS principle. Keep it.
Away from the jargon.
Tell me again.
Try and stay away from the jargon.
And try to stay away from the jargon. I think that's one of the things that people are on the inside don't even realize they're speaking jargon. And it automatically keeps people on the outside when we do that. So that is a powerful message. Yes?
Trust synchronicity.
Trusting synchronicity. That God knows everything that's going on and we can just trust that. Yes? Play. Have a good time. Beautiful. Play. Bill's giving you the thumbs up. That was the point he was trying to make. Yes?
Give people the experience that you want them to have.
Give them the experience that you want them to have? Okay. Give people the experience that you want them to have. We know that experience is much more than just talking from the pulpit. Yes?
I love the way it's all the learning styles, and because we talk about that with children, that we need to introduce all the different learning styles to really make something embodiment. And so you're doing this for adults.
So you're saying the different learning styles?
Kinesthetic.
Yes.
The music's mind, like all of it. It's movement, it's connection. I love it.
Right. So she's saying she really loves the fact that Bill used all of the ways in which we learn, kinesthetic and seeing and writing and physical learning, all of the things that we use, different ways of learning, he utilized in that adventure. And so we can take that back with us as well. So that's a beautiful takeaway as well. All right. Okay, so I'm going to remind you of some wonderful things. Anybody else have any more? I don't want to cut anybody off. Okay. Some reminders of some wonderful things that are continuing to happen as we move through the day. Workshops with Melissa and Z, yeah. That's the next thing. So I want to let you guys out here really quickly because they're going to start at 11, and we want to be in the room where it happens at 11, okay? So, and Dr. Sarah Blackburn is going to be at 4:30 with her workshop. Yeah. Oh, let me remind you now that you can take Melissa and Z home with you. They have wonderful things over there at the workshop. You guys want to say a little bit more about that?
Sure. I think my mic's super hot today. I think. Is that true? Because I sound very loud. So this is what we call our Oh My God Life mini mall. And we travel with it, and it helps fund our ministry. So check it out. We have all kinds of groovy things there, including 2 books, a bunch of CDs, fridge magnets, all kinds of things. these free affirmation cards, I am incredible, powerful, a miracle, divine, and love is the only truth, another song we're doing tonight. So all kinds of fun things. Come check it out. And also the mailing
Including,
list.
I just got to say, my wife not only is all the things you already have seen, but also is, as mentioned in the bio, a cartoonist. So you'll see these fridge magnets here and a whole book of a daily cartoon and affirmation and paragraph and all that. Those cartoons are drawn by this brilliant being. Okay.
Thank you.
I can say it because, yeah. Okay, and then I just have to tell, because this is a room of ministers and music directors and people who know music directors and have them in their churches. For this event, I created a brand new thing, which is a flash drive that has on it all 7 CDs that we have currently in release, the music of those, the TV mixes, also known as karaoke versions of all the songs, and the printed music. All the printed music that exists, meaning sheet music, chord charts, vocal arrangements, full arrangements.
It's five Melissa Phillippe albums, so it's chants and songs, and then 2 of ours. Everything that exists is all on that.
Everything on here for $80.
Beautiful.
So that you have to ask me about, because they're in.
And tell them about our mailing list.
Oh, and most importantly, yes. The most important thing to us is, if you like us, I always like to say, if you don't like us, don't sign up on our mailing list. But if you enjoy us, we would love to have you on our mailing list, which is free. And we, for our friends on our mailing list, we send out 2 free videos every month. They are guided meditations, prayers, messages. They all have music. They're all different things, beautifully done, if I do say so myself. And
all exceptionally marvelous and grand.
Aw,
Thank
you, Sherry. Okay, and then our favorite thing, it's pretty much my favorite thing. So, and if you know the Enneagram, I'm a 7, so it's like 7. Every year, we write and record a new birthday song. And then we record a video and send it to you on your birthday. So on the morning of your birthday, you wake up, you check your email, and there we are, singing you a brand new happy birthday song every year.
It's really fun.
So
It's
be
cool.
sure to include your birthday.
And Carolyn Douglas is, yes.
Hey,
Because
Carolyn.
Carolyn Douglas's birthday, I happen to know this, is January 1st. So she gets it.
She gets it
She
first.
gets the first one.
She gets to see it first. Yeah. So, and I have to say, I open mine on my birthday, and I keep it for a couple weeks and open it. And even though I make the thing, it makes me happy. It makes me feel joy. So we would love to have you on there. And there's 2 iPads, one on either end of the table, on which you just electronically add yourself to our mailing list. So please join us virtually.
And if they want to join you from Zoom, would they just go to your website? How would they how would they subscribe to your newsletter?
Oh, yes, thank you. Our website is Oh My God Life spelled out, so OHMYGODLIFE.com. And you can sign up on
right on
there.
the homepage.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks, BJ.
Absolutely. All right, so we have a panel discussion coming, Sage Wisdom, at 1:30 p.m. We have the annual membership meeting, so lots of great things are happening there. I encourage you to come to that as well. We have a keynote this evening with, Reverend Mark Anthony Lord is here in the house. Yes, if you heard him before, and if you haven't, if you heard him before, you know what's coming. If you haven't heard him, oh my God, so exciting. All right, today's practitioners are Jean Katoka. Say again? Kataoka. Kataoka. All right, I'm learning. Kataoka. Jean Kataoka. And we have Reverend Denny Ralston also, as well as these are our practitioners for the day. Is Reverend Ralston in the room? There you are. There she is back there. All right. Thank you so much. Get your raffle tickets. I've already got my winning tickets. So hey, there's a lot. There's a lot back there. So there's plenty to go around. The universe is abundant, so get that. And prayer request boxes and sign-ups for airport rides are at the registration table. You guys want to take us out?
Yes. I think we have a slide for these lyrics, but I will tell you, this is a spoken word song. There's a spoken word chorus. I would love for you to join us. This is a prayerful tune. So the words are, I feel your peace and your presence and your power, my God. Say that with me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power, my God. And the second line, I feel your peace and your presence in me. And for people who are, as Bill said, allergic to God, the G word, I have a little of that. I've had that. And because for when I was a kid, God was a white, male, senior citizen in the sky who occasionally went off his meds, right? That dude. And so I always point out that when we say God is my God, the highest, the best, the most expanded, the most loving energy that we can imagine and beyond. So it's my God. All right. It started out small, something less than a touch. I didn't even know it was you. God was unreliable, a crazy man, righteous, someone I should love and fear. What kind of sense is that? It started out small, something less than a touch. I didn't even know it was you. When I stumbled upon your power, I lost what I was taught. The crazy and the righteous enfolded in a love so vast it stretched the very definition of the word love. Together, I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. Again, I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me.
I surrender. I surrender to your love. I surrender. I surrender to your love.
You are not outside of me, and yet you are. It makes no sense, but then it does. For you are here wherever here may be. I speak to you. You speak to me. The voice is mine and not mine. Landing in the space between where you and I vanish and begin, stretching the very definition of the word me. You together. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me.
I surrender. I surrender to
together. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence as me. I feel your peace and your presence and your power. My God, I feel your peace and your presence in me.
I surrender.
I feel your peace and your presence and your power.
Thank you. Beautiful. I just want to remind you all, we're running just a little bit late. We're going to take a break. They're going to be back in this very room, Melissa and Z, doing a workshop in music at 11 a.m. So please come back as soon as you can. As close to 11 as you possibly can. Thank you so much.
Let's do it.